And Dean, we ought to just go right to last night's game. I mean,
Yeah.
San Diego, Pittsburgh. I mean, Los Angeles, Pittsburgh. So many things to talk about. How about the kicks at the end of the game?
Really interesting situation. So the Steelers were offside several times. The Chargers are attempting to win the game with a field goal. The Steelers were offside on the first attempt. They blocked it. Then there was a second offside, and they blocked it. And then they were offside on the third attempt, and he was so far offside on the third one, he actually went past it, and the kick was good. And it was interesting because there is something in the rule book that I don't know a lot of people know about. And there is a penalty for continually fouling to prevent a score. What could have happened last night had they continued to foul? What does the referee have the ability to do?
Well, if you deem that they intentionally did this, intentionally fouled on successive plays, really two. I mean, then the referee can do. You kind of call it like a palpably unfair act to do that. So the referee could, in fact, award a score. We really have two things in the book in terms of intentional fouls. If you have a live ball foul, you have two fouls on the same play, with the intent to manipulate the clock. You have provisions of now to not allow that to happen. But in this particular play, successive penalties intentionally committed to try to prohibit a score, you can go ahead and actually award the score. Would you have done that if you'd have missed the third one?
I would have. I think the rule book is clear. You give a warning, and then after the warning, you award the score. So to me, I would have strongly considered it after the second one, but certainly after the third one, warn the team and then award the score had it happened one more time.
It like felt to me like they were challenging the officials here. Would they call it three times in a row?
Exactly.
But the interesting thing was it backfires on him if he makes the first field goal. I mean, so it's really because he missed that first attempt, so it really would have backfired on him then. But it does present an interesting situation.
Yeah, no doubt. Another interesting situation earlier in the game.
Yeah. What about the false start?
We've seen this before.
Yeah, we certainly have seen it before, and it led to a dismissal. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen again. But, I watched earlier on in the series. I mean, that right tackle was really quick getting off the ball.
Yes.
And I think he may have been beaten it before. Not as bad as he beat this one. And maybe you get lulled into a sleep because the others were a little closer. But this, I mean, that's a big play. And that's, it's not like this was every once in a while, you'll get a guard that's covered up by the tackle and you can't really see. This is pretty wide open. And that was a miss on the same level as the one that was missed in the Cleveland Charger game before.
No doubt. And what I did after the fact, I wanted to make sure it was a false start. And because you can slow it down and say, oh, he just beat the snap frame by frame. They can't officiate frame by frame. So I went back and watched it at full speed again several times. He was early. That's a false start. And I know if I'm a line of scrimmage official in the NFL and I have a Chargers game coming up, I may call in sick. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I know that if you were still the head of officiating, you might have called in sick after this weekend too. That's one of the plays that you would have had to deal with. But you have to expect that call to be made in this situation. There's really, to me, not much judgment involved in that. And we weren't looking at new officials here. I mean, we were looking at the veteran official that was involved in the call. And, you can have mistakes. I hope it wasn't a body of work like they talked about when Hugo Cruz got released. But it was certainly a big miss.
That's the problem with setting that precedent, right? You set
Correct.
that precedent. Now everybody looks at this and he says, well, what about this official? Well, this official, it might not be the same situation because, again, a body of work. But
if you're Mike Tomlin, what do you say to Al Riveron? Hey, you fired that guy. This was as big as that one, and that puts Al Riveron in a bind.
Watch Mike Pereira and Dean Blandino every Monday afternoon on Last Call, presented by Microsoft Surface, right here at NFL on Fox.